Buddha left behind important teachings on psychology and the importance of the mind in shaping our lives. Buddha often said, "Right concentration wisdom," that means using wisdom to illuminate the mind, is a philosophy of life describing the power of psychology and the impact of thinking on actions and attitudes. Shows the continuous connection between elements. This shows that things do not exist independently, but they depend and influence each other. This teaching opens up a journey, one we can choose to pursue to eliminate negative and unnecessary elements from our lives. You should grasp the deep meaning of each lesson, focusing on applying them to daily life to create positive change. Let's share with Aimisoul 10 things you should eliminate from your life. The first lesson is a poignant reminder of the importance of explaining ourselves and how we can be more effective when dealing with those who cause us pain. The habit of explaining ourselves often stems from the need to justify ourselves when we go through painful experiences. The feeling of wanting to explain the situation, to make others understand us, perhaps even to change their point of view. However, Buddha points out another path, placing the emphasis on healing oneself instead of spending time and energy explaining things to others. The Buddha's teachings warn of the danger of increasing anger and pain when trying to reason with those who do not understand or are not willing to change. Instead, we are encouraged to focus on healing our inner wounds and finding peace. This is not about suppressing emotions. Instead, it is a recognition that there are people who may not understand our pain or are simply unwilling to change. Finding inner peace means we don't depend so much on the understanding or approval of others to feel happy and peaceful. This lesson encourages us to recognize that healing often comes from within, and that explaining things to others is not always the best option. Instead, let's focus on developing the psychological strength and capacity for acceptance that will help us continue on our journey without carrying the burden of unnecessary anger and suffering. The second lesson is a profound reminder of the importance of maintaining psychological and emotional well-being at the end of a relationship, following Buddha's advice. When relationships end, the Buddha recommended that we maintain friendly, welcoming words and avoid words that hurt others. This not only makes the process of ending the relationship easier, but also helps protect the psychology and spirit of both parties. The Buddha's teachings emphasize practicing prudence and kindness in one's speech. When we focus on positive speech, share positive things, and avoid sensitive details that can cause distress, we are contributing to minimizing negative emotions and conflicts. Buddha also emphasized respecting boundaries and privacy of past relationships. Not oversharing helps protect personal dignity and does not negatively affect others. At the same time, it also contributes to building a more harmonious and compassionate society, where people respect and understand each other. In difficult times, silence can be a respectful response, helping people maintain self-respect and distance themselves from negative interactions. This shows respect and awareness of the impact each word has on each other's feelings and moods. Lesson 3, give up unnecessary goals, takes us on an inner journey, tracing Buddha's profound philosophy on time and the value of each life moment. The words, "master the mind," are for us to start reevaluating our life goals. Buddha emphasized the principle of mastery of the mind, because the mind is the source of action and creativity. This lesson encourages us to take an inner journey to examine and identify unnecessary goals in life. This inspiration comes from an awareness of the preciousness of time, an unparalleled resource that we often waste on insignificant pursuits. Time is viewed as precious moments, and Buddha taught that we should not waste it by pursuing goals that do not provide real meaning. This inner journey requires us to sift through our aspirations and clearly distinguish between goals that truly resonate with our core values and those that do not reflect our true nature. Giving up unnecessary goals not only frees up energy, but also helps us focus on important goals that bring true meaning and happiness. In this way, we can create a life full of meaning and harmony with our spiritual values. The fourth lesson is that voice control in times of anger or frustration is an important part of psychological and spiritual development. Buddha spoke powerfully about controlling emotions and remaining calm in all situations. This not only helps maintain positive relationships with others, but also ensures personal satisfaction and happiness. Anger is often accompanied by speaking up forcefully and raising your voice, which can create the opposite effect and increase tension in the relationship. Buddha compared holding on to anger to grabbing a hot coal and throwing it at someone else. This image clearly illustrates that the consequences of speaking up in anger not only affect others, but also hurt yourself. Instead of speaking up and expressing emotions uncontrollably, Buddha encouraged the use of patience and calm. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but rather acknowledging them and choosing to deal with them patiently. This way, you can maintain clarity and approach the situation responsibly. Rationality and patience are important qualities to build positive relationships and maintain personal happiness. Practicing patience helps you avoid getting caught up in a vicious cycle of negative emotions and find constructive solutions. At the same time, remaining calm helps you maintain trust and harmony in the relationship. The fifth lesson from Buddha's philosophy is about constantly comparing yourself with others, a problem that many people face in daily life. Buddha, through his profound teachings, drew attention to the negative impact of the habit of constant comparison and proposed another direction to find inner happiness. Constantly comparing yourself to others often leads to feelings of jealousy and insecurity. This can take away the ability to recognize one's own worth, as each person has unique characteristics, talents, and successes. This unhealthy comparison can lead to loss of confidence and self-esteem, making people feel inadequate and unworthy. Buddha encouraged us to see ourselves without comparing ourselves to others. Instead, we should focus on understanding ourselves, recognizing and developing our positive and powerful aspects. This helps us build self-confidence, find meaning in our personal lives, and create inner happiness. This lesson also emphasizes the awareness of the diversity and richness of each human being. By respecting differences and not being comparably optimistic, we can create a positive and supportive environment where everyone is encouraged to reach their individual potential without worrying about comparison with others. Buddha's sixth lesson is an important reminder about using social media mindfully. In today's society, social media has become an indispensable part of life, but using it unintentionally can have negative effects on our mood and mental state. Buddha places the focus on the mind, emphasizing that the way we interact with digital environments, especially social media, can significantly influence our mood and mental state. Using social media intentionally and mindfully helps us focus on positive connections, meaningful content, and away from negative influences. Instead of getting caught up in the virtual world, we can use social media as a tool to support personal growth and overall happiness. By making honest and positive choices, we can keep our minds in a positive state, supporting the process of focusing on our core values and personal goals. This lesson also encourages self-management of time when using social media, helping to prevent a loss of optimism and positivity during unnecessary times. We should remember that mindfulness in using social networks not only positively impacts ourselves, but also makes the digital environment more positive and useful. The seventh lesson of the Buddha is an important warning about pursuing external validation and seeking approval from others. This habit, although common, can become a major obstacle in the process of building personal confidence and happiness. Buddha affirmed that every person, including ourselves, is worthy of love and respect without having to depend on the approval of others. Putting too much effort into being recognized by others can create an emotional dependency and take away our ability to be autonomous and independent. Instead of pursuing external validation, we can focus on developing internal confidence and self-esteem. This includes understanding your personal values, recognizing your positive and unique qualities, and setting personal goals based on belief in your abilities. In this way, we can build a solid foundation for self-confidence and happiness, without being overly dependent on the opinions and judgments of others. This lesson is an important reminder about finding joy and meaning within yourself, rather than relying on validation from the outside world. The Buddha's 8th lesson on perfectionism provides an important reminder of the complexity of pursuing perfection and how we should face our imperfections. Buddha declared that in this world there is no perfection, there is only striving for it. This lesson opens the door to exploring the complex relationship between the pursuit of perfection and human imperfection. In a world that often glorifies unattainable ideals, Buddha encouraged us to accept our imperfections as an integral part of the human experience. Perfectionism can become a double-edged sword, leading us to achieve high standards but also leading to constant self-criticism and anxiety. The Buddha encourages us to let go of the elusive notion of perfection and instead embrace our imperfections as a fundamental aspect of our humanity. Embracing imperfection helps us free ourselves from the shackles of self-doubt and unrealistic expectations. We learn to appreciate the beauty in our flaws and the growth from our mistakes. Instead of focusing on unattainable perfection, we are encouraged to focus on progress and the journey of self-improvement. Embracing imperfection helps us set meaningful goals, work hard toward them, and enjoy the journey without the burden of unattainable perfection. The Buddha's 9th lesson on clinging to unrealistic expectations is an important addition, emphasizing the principle of continuous improvement and embracing change with flexibility. The Buddha, through this teaching, reminds us of the root of suffering, which often comes from clinging to inflexible expectations. Clinging to unrealistic expectations often leads to disappointment and frustration when life does not turn out as we expected. Instead of stopping and accepting change, we can become rigid and demand that everything be according to the script we have imagined. This teaching opens the door to the concept of continuous improvement, flexibility, in the face of challenges, and the ability to adapt to life's fluctuations. Instead of expecting everything to go as planned, we can learn to be open and accepting of uncertainty, while also seeing new opportunities and learning from unsatisfactory experiences. Freeing ourselves from clinging to unrealistic expectations can help us move through life with more ease, reduce stress and anxiety, and open up positive and fulfilling perspectives. Meaning in each person's life journey. Lesson 10 on the harmful effects of gossip provides an in-depth perspective on the impact of our communication and words on the surrounding environment. The Buddha's wisdom is expressed in the advice, "Don't speak unless it improves silence." This encourages us to consider the impact of our words and avoid mindless chatter. Gossip, although seemingly harmless, can actually have major consequences. It can create misunderstandings, hurt trust, and sow the seeds of discord between individuals. The Buddha encouraged us to avoid engaging in gossip so as not to create a toxic environment. Mindful and compassionate communication is key to stopping gossiping behavior. By listening actively, empathizing with others, and speaking with kindness and authenticity, we can create a positive and harmonious environment. We are encouraged to direct our energy into positive and inspiring conversations instead of indulging in gossip. This helps build healthy relationships, increase trust, and create a positive atmosphere in social environments. This lesson is an important reminder of the importance of our word choice and communication, and an invitation to build a community based on respect, listening, and compassion. All of these lessons together guide us on our journey to find inner freedom and enlightenment. They are universal principles of life and soul management, and they all provide seeds for us to cultivate and develop ourselves. Apply these teachings to your daily life and pursue your path with sincerity and mindfulness. If you find inspiration in this topic, please support us by liking, sharing with friends, and leaving a comment below with your thoughts. and this will give us more motivation and energy to continue making the next video. Thank you for walking the path of wisdom and enlightenment with us. Wishing you peace and success in life. See you again soon.